Realignment 2020 from the UIL is now in the books. For one high school, it's back to the meat grinder. And for the other school, it'll be a different change for Weslaco East as they're going to be moving down to 5A. Hello, everybody. Carlos Robledo along with Mike Gonzalez. And we're talking a little bit of football here today because just on Monday, they had realignment. So that's when all the schools are moved to different districts. And then also we get to talk a little bit about the non-district schedules as well. So first of all, let's take a look at Weslaco High School because they're going to be moving on. They were at 31-6A. Now they're going back to 32-6A, where they were 2 years ago. And let's take a look, Mike Gonzalez, at 32-6A for Weslaco High School.
That's right, Carlos. So we start off with Brownsville Hannah. That went 3 deep a few years ago. Brownsville Rivera, some tradition there. Donna North, Harlingen High School, Harlingen South, Los Fresnos, San Benito, both won high schools here in the Rio Grande Valley as a 6A school, and Weslaco High School.
For Weslaco East, they're going to be moving down a classification from 6A to 5A, and they're going to go to 16-5A Division I. Mike Gonzalez, take us through that district.
It starts off with the Brownsville schools, Brownsville Lopez, Pace, Porter, Brownsville Veterans Memorial, good quality program there. Donna High School right next door. Then La Jolla Palmview. Then the 3 McAllen schools, McAllen High, McAllen Memorial, McAllen Row, and Weslaco East.
All right, Mike Gonzalez, let's talk a little bit about Weslaco High School because they're going to be playing against the Harlingen schools, San Benito, Los Fresnos, and a couple of Brownsville schools as well. These are all teams that they're familiar with.
They are, Carlos, and I mean, when you think back, it's like a tug of war when it comes to Weslaco High School, and it used to be Weslaco East where, one realignment, we go to 31-6A, and then we jump to 32-6A. Well, yes, these last couple of years, we were in the Mid-Valley area on 31-6A. Now we jump back to 32-6A where it's more Cameron County schools. So again, we talk about the Harlingen schools, and then we talk about Los Fresnos and San Benito. Played against the Falcons this past season in a bi-district round, and played Harlingen High School a couple of years ago in the first round. And then you got the Brownsville schools, Brownsville Hannah and Brownsville Rivera. And so that should be a pretty competitive district right there.
Yeah, all those teams have improved over the years or have sustained their level of excellence over the years. Certainly talking about Harlingen, San Benito, Los Fresnos, and Hannah, and even Harlingen South, an up-and-coming school. All right, for Weslaco East on the football side, because this year the district is different for volleyball, basketball, and the other sports, but for football, this is the way it's going to shape up. Once again, we talked about 16-5A. We're going to have the schools from Brownsville. You're going to have Donna, Palmview, McAllen Memorial, Roll, and East. This is something that Weslaco East should be used to because they've won at every level, 4A, 5A, and 6A.
And they've had a lot of success, Carlos, as a 6A school, as a 5A school, and 4A, making deep playoff runs, winning district championships, and being that they're going to play Brownsville Lopez, Brownsville Pace, Brownsville Porter. But there is some history, Carlos, with the Brownsville veterans there. They played each other back in 2012 when Brownsville veterans just got started there. They actually came over here and beat the Wildcats in the bi-district round. However, the Wildcats in 2015 returned the favor by beating the Chargers by 1 point. And so there's a lot of history there between Weslaco East and some of these schools. And then you got the McAllen schools, where they play McAllen Memorial in close, tight matches in non-district play. And then they just played McAllen Row in the first round. This past year came out with a victory. So a lot to look forward to for the Wildcats.
All right, so what happened to the other 6A schools? Well, there's only 2 big 6A schools now. I'm talking about the district that Weslaco East and Weslaco High were in. Now it's the 31-6A district. And let's take a look at the 31-6A district. It involves the Edinburgh schools, Edinburgh, Economides, Edinburgh North, Vela, La Jolla, Juarez, Lincoln, Mission, PSJA North, and PSJA. So we're going back to the days where as far as the big schools are concerned, just 2 big districts with these 2 big 6As.
It kind of reminds me of my childhood days in the 80s and early 90s where, yes, Hidalgo County kind of consisted more of the 31-6A or 5A in those days matches. And you had the Missions, the Edinburghs, and PSJs on that side. And then I remember Weslaco High would play more the Brownsville schools, the Harlingens, the San Benitos, and before Los Fresnos came on board. And that's kind of where we're at now. And in the 31-6A, this should be a very interesting district there with the Edinburgh schools, Edinburgh Vela, staying in 31-6A with an impressive record of 35-6 the last 3 years. Have gone to the 3rd round these last 3 years, but now they're going to have to face the Mission Eagles, who were tri-district champions this past year. Coy Demmer doing a wonderful job there. And then we also have the PSJA Bears, who also shared the district championship. And then you got the PSJA Raiders, who barely missed the playoffs. But I mean, we know Coach Marcus Kaufman does a great job with his program there. So these are the schools to keep an eye on in 31-6A for the next couple of years.
So one of the things that also happens during realignment is we get to find out who these teams will be playing on the non-district side, the non-district schedule, and also their scrimmages. So let's take a look at that for Weslaco High School, because it's going to start off with a couple of scrimmages. They're going to play Edinburgh North and then Brownsville Veterans. Those are the two teams that they'll be playing for their scrimmages. Then non-district games. Weslaco East, Denakable number 9. That's right, the tradition continues. Then Mission, that's a Coy Detmer-led team. And then Laredo Nixon. Mike Gonzalez, what do you think about that non-district schedule?
Wow, what a way to start the 2020 season with Tinaco Bowl. That's going to be the first time ever that we've had a Tinaco Bowl to start off the season. And so, yeah, as you mentioned, part of the series continues. Obviously, both of these coaches must have agreed to play one another, being that it's non-district. They didn't have to play one another, but I mean, maybe they felt that this is something the community wanted. And we know it's going to be a packed house, and we know that's going to be good for the players there and to start off the season to get them going. And Mission Eagles, I like that matchup as well. There's a lot of history there between the two schools playing one another in the late 80s into the 90s. And there was actually one year, Carlos, when I was in high school, I remember Tom Landry actually came to town to toss the coin. And when we all saw him there, it was wonderful. It was something that back then Panther Stadium got to experience. And being that the Panthers and the Eagles were the Valley Powers in those days, I mean, for Tom Landry to come down to make an appearance, that really, really says a lot. And then Laredo Nixon, that's nice to see that the Panthers scheduled somebody out of the Valley to get them going right before district competition begins. You want to get that experience under your belt, and so that's going to be nice for them right before district competition begins.
Yeah, that Mission game coming back to Weslaco. Always played against Mission. Well, now it's going to be there at home or at Tom Landry Stadium, so that'll always be fun. I remember the days when, Jamar Taylor and Irving Taylor, they went on to play collegiate ball, and Jamar Taylor played in the NFL. Those were the days when you had some athletes out on this field. All right, so let's take a look at the rest of the schedule for Weslaco High School, the district schedule. Donna North, Rivera, Harlingen, a playoff team from a year ago. Los Fresnos, a playoff team from a year ago. Hanna went 3 deep in the playoffs over a year ago. Harlingen South and San Benito, also teams that went to the playoffs last year.
Oh, absolutely. And we talked about Harlingen South. That's a team that's growing under a new program there, and actually gave the Panthers a tough fight last year. The Panthers had to win in overtime. It came down to a defensive stop there, and then we saw the Hawks come in here for the first round of the playoffs, played Weslaco East, gave them a really good fight. So, I mean, there's going to be a lot of great competition here. And then we mentioned about Los Fresnos and San Benito both being one high school districts there, the only Valley programs to have that. And you got the Harlingen Cardinals. We know about the Valley tradition there. That's a program that's probably the best here in South Texas for sure, in 6A, that has probably the best tradition, rich tradition, more than anybody. And so the Panthers, once again, in this district, it's going to be fun to watch.
All right, so we had a chance to talk to Coach Roy Stroman, the head coach of the Weslaco Panthers, and here's what he had to say.
Well, we're back to the SEC of the 6A, or the meat grinder, as they say. But no, we're very familiar with the teams that we faced them a couple of years ago, and we're very familiar with what they do offensively, defensively, their schemes and packages, and they've got some great programs down there, and some great football coaches that have got a lot of wins and a lot of experience. So we've got our work cut out for us.
All right, Coach. And also one of the things that comes out during this time is you get their non-district schedule changes up a little bit. So tell me a little bit about that.
No doubt. Coach Bergen and I sat down. At first, we were kind of, should we have the Tinaco Bowl? And we were both, let's just kind of, stay away from it for a little bit. But days passed, and community members and the fanaticos here at Weslaco High and Weslaco East, they want this game. So
and then you're going to have also non-district the Mission Eagles, so you're going to have that high-flying offense to contend with, and also Laredo Nixon.
Yeah, Coach Detmer, he's done a tremendous job with the Mission Eagles, and back and talking to the community members, they kind of wanted that game as well, the old in the 90s. And so we were excited that kind of fell through. And then having, that 8-team district in 32-6A, and then having, a 9 and 31-6A, it was tough for us to find that third game, that week 3. So 32-6A is looking for games, and the Laredo schools were available. And Laredo Nixon was there, and something new for us that's going to help us prepare for 32-6A. They run smash mouth, running type style offense. So that's going to help us to get ready for the teams that we need to get ready for.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about Weslaco East now and their schedule. They'll start off with a couple of scrimmages, and they'll take on a scrimmage first against Rio Hondo and then Mission. So they'll get a taste of a high-flying offense of the Mission Eagles, and both those games will take place at Weslaco East High School. And then they have their only non-district game. We talked about that, Denakable number 9 against Weslaco. Then they go into district. Lopez, Pace, Porter, Brownsville Veterans, Donna, La Jolla, Palmview, McAllen Monroe, and McAllen Memorial, I should say, and then McAllen Rowe. So tough teams there in that schedule.
The game I'm looking forward to, Carlos, is against the Donna Redskins, because this is the first time that they play against each other, and we know the rich tradition that the Donna Redskins have, and being that they're right next door. I'm not sure if they're coming to Weslaco or if they're going over there, but that's going to be a fun one to watch there, being that they're playing each other for the very first time. And then, as we mentioned, Brownsville Veterans Memorial, already some history there. They came over here to Weslaco to play the Wildcats in the bi-district game in 2012, came out with a victory, and then the Wildcats got the win back in 2015 by 1 point. So some history already there. And then we mentioned La Jolla Palmview. They played La Jolla Palmview 1 year in the playoffs, and then McAllen High with Coach Selsby there. He used to be an assistant here at Weslaco, and then McAllen Memorial. A lot of great games between the Wildcats and the Mustangs from yesteryear, and then the Warriors last couple of years have done very, very well. Wildcats beat them in the bi-district round in 2019.
No time to rest for the Wildcats, because they're in this district where they have all these, you play one game and then you got to start district right away. So no time to rest, a little bit of pressure put on the players and the coaches to perform every single week.
But when you talk about the Wildcats, Carlos, this is a program that, if anything, they get it going over the summer with their workouts and with their training camps in August and two-a-days. And so by the time the scrimmage competition begins, they're pretty much ready to go. We know that the coaches have a lot of years of experience. They put the players in the right place. And now that the realignment is over and done with, and now know that in week 2, district competition begins, I'm more than sure that the Wildcats are going to be ready to go, whoever they play.
All right, we had a chance to talk to Coach Mike Forget of the Weslaco East Wildcats, and here's what he had to say. So your team wins the Super Bowl on Sunday. Then on Monday, you go to realignment, and Weslaco East has moved to 5A, Division I in a 10-team district. Is that what you expected?
Yes, exactly. The Padilla put it out a couple months ago, and he hit it right on the nose. There's other predictions, but 10 teams mean, to me it's a plus. We got a great district, Brownsville to McAllen to Donna to Palmview. You're talking about a tough district. Teams that's been in the playoffs there, and I always tell the coaches, be careful what you wish for. We wish for 5A. We get away from the Velas, the Weslaco, San Benito, Los Fresnos, San Benito with 3,000 plus students. So we're happy, but then we're stepping in with McAllen Memorial, Nicky Road, Mac High, Palmview, the Brownsville schools, Donna. So, it'd be very competitive. We're excited. Anytime you get change, it's exciting. When you play the same team year after year, I don't want to say it gets boring. It never gets boring. The big game we have next year is week 1. At least that's what the town's going to think. Me and Stroman sort of laugh because it's not a district game, so we're not going to get uptight on it. Do we break the 4-4 tie? Yes. Is it bragging rights for 365? Yes. But I'd rather lose that first game and go 3-4 deep, if you ask me. But, it's going to be fun. It's always fun. It's fun for the kids. It's fun for the families. Everybody in Westco knows everyone. So, like I said, it's bragging rights for 365. So, but, playing these new teams, our guys are excited when I told them.
Weslaco East has always taken their non-district games very seriously. You want to try to win as many games as possible. Going 10-0, of course, is always the goal. So you're going to be competitive right out of the bat because you have that first district game. You're going to have to play that first district game, whoever it may be, after the Weslaco High game. Is that something that it is okay with you to have to play 9 straight district games?
And, you look at last year, we played Manor right off the bat, and we beat a team that went 4 deep. And, we'll have our kids ready. We got all summer to work with them. We got all off season to work with them. So, we look to hit the ground running right off the bat. And, what a great test for us, Weslaco High. Back-to-back area champs. So, it's 6A. So, we're just a small 5A now. So, but we get a chance to play a team like that, to see where we're at. We got 2 great scrimmages. We're playing Rio Hondo in our first scrimmage. Last time we played Rio Hondo, they beat us 1,000-0. and I still remember it. And Rocky called me up and said, "Coach, let's play again." I said, "You bet." So we're playing them in the first scrimmage, and then we're playing Mission High. Mission High's got a great quarterback coming back. Weslaco High's second non-district game will be Mission. So, we're looking forward to playing Mission, and we know Dittmer does a great job over there. I mean, comes from a football family, a great coach. So, I think we'll be ready when the season starts, even though we start earlier than normal in district.
As far as Weslaco East, other sports like volleyball and basketball, they're going to be in a different district. They're going to be in 32 5A. And let's take a look at that district. It's going to consist of Brownsville schools, Lopez, Pace, Porter, Veterans Memorial, and then Mid-Valley schools. Check this out. Donna at Calchelsa, Mercedes, and Weslaco East. So we talked about this earlier, Mike, but this is going to be really cool for these basketball teams to have a little Mid-Valley rivalry going on.
Yeah, very interesting, Carlos, the way that UIL put this together. So you have Weslaco East now that are going to play Donna High, Calchelsa, and Mercedes right next door to each other. Imagine what those games are going to be like for the basketball games and even volleyball games for the community coming together. It's going to be loud. It's going to be fun. And then you got the Brownsville schools of Lopez, Pace, and Porter. Some history there when Weslaco East played against these schools as a Class 4A, and Brownsville Veterans Memorial, a good, solid program in both volleyball and boys and girls basketball.
All right, so Mike Gonzalez, this man right here, had a chance to talk to Chris Cromer, the Weslaco East girls basketball coach, to find out his thoughts on realignment.
Well, I think, every 2 years when we get a realignment, it's actually kind of exciting because you get to see your new batch of opponents that you're going to really study inside and out and prepare for. I was excited to see that list. It takes me back to several years ago, back when we were 4A before the 5As went to 6, and a lot of those are rivalries that we had between schools. It's going to be exciting to see those come back. It puts us in a class of enrollment that better suits our numbers. Instead of being a smaller school in the big numbers, we'll be a larger school in the 5As. Excited about that.
All right, well, that'll wrap it up. Our 2020 realignment show is now done, 6 months away from the first football game, which will take place in August. So for Mike Gonzalez, I'm Carlos Robledo. We'll see you next time right here on KRS.